Welcome back, people. It is officially time to do our this season's first preview match of QPR versus Millwall Carabao Cup. It has begun. We've had our preseason. Now it's official. We are on to the big business. So, where to start? So, obviously, we've played Millwall before, as everyone knows. Millwall have pretty much been the better team last season. They have, compared to what we was at the end of it. So Millwall did beat us at their ground. I believe it was 2-0. I believe it was 16 minutes were gone when they scored them 2 goals. I believe it was. That game was really bad, but what I would sit here and say right now is that there's a big difference to this season. Now, Julien Stéphan has already admitted to basically saying that he's going to be taking this cup serious. So I would not be surprised if a team is going to be first team quality, in the sense of we're going to see the big guns playing. And majority, probably some youngsters on the bench. Maybe the odd youngster that breaks through in pre-season, who has had a great pre-season. Because let's be honest, our pre-season has been more successful than our previous seasons that we've had. So, let's just get started into the nitty-gritty part. So, obviously, when it comes down to Carabao Cup, we're not exactly great with it. Our cup runs have not been brilliant. You know, we've not gone past the 3rd round for a while, I believe. And, you know, at home against Millwall, it's a good opportunity and good chance for us to pretty much end the curse. You know, it's going to be live on Sky Sports Plus at 2 p.m. on Saturday. And the thing is about this one is that we're going into it with not as much injuries as we expect. You know, we still have a great squad. We've made some terrific signings, like always, in the past couple of seasons we've had. And Millwall are the ones that are in the shit at the moment. So Millwall have actually got some injuries going and some new players that they've signed that are not exactly fit and ready for this cup. Now, from what I gathered today, they have approached Lyndon Dykes to pretty much join the team on a 1-year basis, I think it was, as a free agent. And obviously that'll be, if it does go through in time, then obviously we'll see him against QPR. But the reason why they're bringing him in is probably because of injuries to their best striker from last season. So let's have a look at it here. Now, players that have joined, obviously, Millwall in the summer: Jensen Metcalf, Tariq Arcant, Matthias Savas, Mark Sykes, Elkan Baggett, Kyrell Lisby, Danny Bath, and Massimo Luongo, who has obviously just re-signed for Millwall after being released. Now, players who have left Millwall this season: Danny McNara, Wes Harden, Joe Bryan, Macaulay Longstaff, Barry Bannon, who went back to Sheffield Wednesday, Billy Mitchell, Anthony Patterson, Tommy Watson, Will Smallbone, and Tierno Ballo. Now, all of these players are pretty significant and was a big impact on their season last season for Millwall, especially when you look at Joe Bryan, that left-sided player, absolutely brilliant. Barry Bannon, who never really broke into the Millwall team, but a very creative player who obviously is back at his stomping grounds. Now, they've obviously lost a lot of players that helped them. Obviously, Anthony Patterson in goal last season, who was on loan from Sunderland, is not there anymore. You know, Tommy Watson, Will Smallbone, who's a free agent right now, and Ballo, who was an incredible player for them last season as well, but obviously not with them anymore. Now, Millwall injury news: Tristan Kramer, who we know very well, very good centre-back in the Championship, obviously will be out. He has an ankle injury. You also have Ivanovic, who we all know very well, the striker, has a fracture and has undergone surgery, which is okay for us. Matthias Savas, not sure who that is. I think he's one of the new signings, if I'm not sure. Yeah, he is. So he will be missing the game as well. Lucas Jensen has returned from injury, expected to be available for selection though, apparently. Caleb Taylor as well, should be available as well. So yeah. Now, when it comes down to things that we need to look out for from Millwall, obviously, look, they're very attacking. They push up very high quite early. They do. You know, Alex Neil, I've always stated this, he's a very good championship manager. He reminds me of Neil Warnock a lot of the time when it comes down to attacking displays. Millwall do play a low block when they do defend as well. So they're up and down that pitch. The energy levels that Alex Neil have got them on is completely incredible. Now, obviously, like I said, they've lost a lot of injuries, especially in Kramer, who's a good centre-back. So there's a bit of justice there. But they have made good signings as well in that defensive part as well, if I can say that. But I wouldn't be too worried about that part right now. Now, obviously, Millwall will bring it to us for sure. They're very attacking, you know, intensity, aggression, physicality, ability to win the first and second balls. We know how they play. We know how Alex Neil plays, and it's very interesting on how he plays. Like I said, it reminds me of Neil Warnock a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing us actually play up against Millwall this season, because obviously, you know, we've got him 3 times. We got him in this Carabao Cup, we got him at home and away as well. So now moving on to obviously QPR's sake, obviously we've made some terrific signings we've had this season. Now it's very likely that most of them will not play, but the chances are we might see the 1 or 2. So obviously our main signings right now: Pierce Charles, Callum Ward, Tariq Lamptey and Glenn Kamara. And obviously, you know, whatever happens with the youngsters as well. So obviously, Glenn Kamara just signed. Do I see him playing? Possibly, you never know. We've seen Tariq Lamptey, I should say, be a big part of training today. And will he be fit enough? I doubt it, but it would be great to see him play. But let's give him time. I don't want him to just come back from ACL. You know, Dembele's injured at the moment as well, come from ACL. You know, and I think that pretty much sums up our injuries on that one. But it looks like Pierce Charles probably could be number 1 for Saturday. So could be interesting on that. Who's going to get the goalkeeper position for against Millwall? You know, we could give Callum Ward a try. But obviously, if he's going to take it serious, we'll see what happens. But I would say, predictingly, the team is probably going to be definitely Pierce Charles in goal. We're probably going to see Amadou Mbengue, Don Edwards and Boy Kemper at the back. I reckon he might try and do the same thing as what we saw pretty much in pre-season with the 3 in midfield. I think we might go 4-3-3 with Madsen, Vale and Chair all in that midfield, see how they do. And obviously Paul Smith, Burrell and Kone up front. Now, I'm only guessing, obviously, with the team news, with obviously what I think, because of how we performed with that against Fiorentina and obviously the other clubs. But that seemed to be a very interesting point of formations when we played in pre-season. You know, I'm very happy 4-3-3 has worked and it looks incredible. The way the defensive line is pushing up with the attack, as well as using Pierce Charles in the way that we've wanted him to, pushing up as well to join and help out with them long balls and the passing and go from there. The passing has been pretty decent, if I'm not mistaken, in this pre-season, and hopefully we can continue that during our season. You know, obviously Millwall, like I said, it's a big game for us still. I'm hoping for a cup run, and obviously it's going to be an interesting thing. You know we got goals, we know we got players up front that can score goals and get past players. This season's all about creativity and defending, and that's what I want to see against Millwall. Some sort of better defending, no mistakes, no silly, stupid hold on to the ball to let them win it and score. You know, let's clear that ball down the lines if possible, as quick as possible. That would be best. You know, and obviously, you know, some great saves from Pierce Charles would be great, and some great tackles from Jimmy and Ronnie. And look, obviously, Boy Camper looks good. Amadou Mbengue has been brilliant on the attack this preseason, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what we do. But yeah, that's pretty much sums up what we're gonna expect. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we go out all attack straight away from the first minute, and hopefully non-stop till the 45, and then have our break and then have a word with Julien, see what happens there. And if we are in the lead, or if whatever happens, hopefully makes the right decisions this season and we can trust and rely on him. So yeah. But the main point for me right now is let's stay positive. Let's get behind the boys on Saturday, get back in there and get this season underway, and obviously go from there. But apart from that, we'll be live with you guys on Saturday 2 p.m. We'll probably be live by 1:30, maybe 1. We'll see what happens. That's the first game. But apart from that, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to. Peace, love, positivity as always, everyone. Hopefully you like the new layout, and we'll catch you in a bit. Catch you on Saturday. See you in a bit, people.